Hey, everybody. So today on the angelic journey is the angel Azrael. So very interesting angel. I'm going to probably say that every week, but very interesting angel. You know, y- it's an angel that helps with transformation or transition in your life. The name means God is my help. And it helps guide us through life and through different segments of our life. Like if you look at the time, like when you're in grade school and you went to high school, that was like a transition period, and then you went to college, and then you went out and got a job. All of those was a series of transitions. You were single, and then you were married, and then you had kids, and then you retired, and all of these things are times where we transition our life where we are aware of it. But sometimes we transition in areas of our life, a way of thinking, a way of perceiving. Um, Sometimes it's not about the external situation, but we just reach a place in life. I remember like when I was in my 20s, and most birthdays they don't bother me, but turning 30 for some reason really bothered me. And it was this transition of kind of being in a certain place in life, and then I'm in this other place of life, and feeling that I needed to get my act together, or I couldn't mess up. And we have these inner transitions of places and ways of thinking that happen like as we age, and as our situations in life kind of shift and change. It kind of impacts us, it affects us. And so, excuse me, it's not just about the transition and transformation like that, but it's also the ability to kind of work through whatever emotional things that might come up. And then also, the angel Azrael is very good at helping us to let go. You know, so many times we are still stuck in some old situation where we might have removed ourselves, but our body, our physiology, there's still some sort of attachment to that situation that we still act on in our mind, and we still act on in our body. Our body still has the neurological response as if we're there. And we all have lots of those. You know, Past experiences, old situations, an interaction with a particular person, whatever that might be. And so, working with the angel Azrael is tied to being able to let things go and move on when the time is right. Always kind of think of that thing as, if is there something in my head that is constantly arising. I might not be grinding on it like, ugh, that person, or my feelings were so hard, but that situation keeps arising in my mind. It's either a loop in the mind, or it's a loop in the body, or both. And so the thing with the angel Azrael is it does help to let go of those things. It doesn't make us feel like we have to resolve something. We can just let go and move on, because sometimes there is no resolution. We'd love to have resolution, but it doesn't always happen. So, the thing that I'm going to suggest for us to do is we're going to do a series of things tonight. And we're going to do it both with saying the name, and we're going to do it with the oil, and we're going to do combinations of the two. So, what I'd like you to do is first just kind of check in with yourself, your body, your emotions, your thoughts. And then we're going to do some practice, and then we're going to talk out what is happening. Now, think of a past event, a situation, a person where it's something that kind of keeps arising in the mind from time to time. You know, there's that saying that, you know, like somebody's living in your head rent free, like they're there and who knows why they're there. A lot of times it's just an unresolved situation from the past. Okay, so you're observing that situation, you're observing that person. If it's not a person, at least the situation. You're observing it. Now, move your awareness to your body and observe your body. We want to listen to the body. By listening to the body, we're beginning to shift our nervous system out of that survival mode or that survival field into the field associated with healing and release. So, where do you feel something in your body? If you really don't feel anything, then go to your spine. But still check in with your body. Do you feel some tension, an agitation, a heaviness? Is your awareness just drawn to an area? And wherever it's drawn, just put your awareness on that area and just observe it. You're not trying to make it go away. You're not trying to relax it. You're simply just observing. You're still observing. And with your awareness on that area, as you observe silently in your mind, let's repeat the name Azrael. 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 And then just let go. And you're just letting go. And let's go back to that situation or that person. And with your awareness on that person or that situation, again, Azrael, Azrael, Azrael. Come back to your body. Listen to your body. Where do you feel it in your body? And again, with your awareness on that area of your body, silently in your mind, Azrael, Azrael. Now let's pull out that oil for Azrael. And still with your awareness on that area of your body, take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Okay, just let it go for a moment. Now, sometimes these situations are still affecting us, even though they maybe have happened a year ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? And so what happens is our nervous system gets locked in a loop and it's sending a signal or at least trying to send a signal to the mind or to the brain. So, for one, the signal is sometimes over exaggerated, and two, the body is not processing it so that it's heard, the body and the mind. And so we're going to walk through some mechanics to resolve these loops to help deepen the process of transition, working through emotional or psychological things like old aches, pains with different people or different situations, and the ability to let go of something and move on, right? So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your awareness on the knees, right? So here we're working on the tendency to be kind of triggered, like instinctive responses, and some of the signaling that might happen when we're, um, not feeling safe or feeling like something bad happened or something traumatic happened. So your awareness is on your knees. So either the whole knee or the back of your knee, and take nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is still on your knees. Now, move your awareness to the ankles. Your awareness is on the ankles. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. And then just pause and let go. Just pause and let go. So, with the knee, the ankle, and the sole of the foot, part of what you're doing there is you're regulating the instinctive response. Another way of saying that is you're regulating the stress response. You know, a lot of times when we have these different things happening in the environment, it's not just like, oh, I can let go of that. It's that our body keeps having this stress response. You know, we're stuck in this loop. We have this stress response or instinctive response that it's trying to keep us out of harm, or it's trying to resolve something, it's trying to get away from the trauma, it's feeling hurt, whatever it might be. And so we want to regulate that response. It's just like how the immune system can become hypervigilant. Our instinctive responses or our stress response can become hypervigilant and hyperreactive. And so when you work the knee, the ankle, and the soles of the feet, part of what you're doing is you're regulating that stress response or those instinctive responses. You're also cleaning up the lower part of the aura or the energy field, which helps to flush out some of the energy centers and the chakras and things like that. Right. So you could do several cycles of this, especially after you go through, you look at a situation or a person. Part of how we release it is to calm down and regulate the instinctive response. If we don't calm that down, as much as we do work in our head and we do processes, if it's not calmed down, then we don't disengage from that old situation. The disengaging is beginning to not react. Really, that's what it's about, is not reacting neurologically, not reacting to whatever that other event is or that person, that old memory, whatever it is. So when you go through and you do this, you're regulating the messaging, right? You're regulating the signal that's going to the mind. So now that we've done that, we want to process what's been there. We want to close the loop. We want to finish the loop. We want to go, okay, this has been completed. Let's go into a restoration phase, right? So after you've done a cycle or two cycles of the knees, ankles, and soles of the feet, then let's go up to the spine. So now your awareness is on your spine. You don't have to think about the old situation. You don't have to think about anything else. Your awareness is simply on the spine. So your awareness is on your spine. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just pause and let go. The letting go is just as important as the inhalation process itself. So you do action and then let go and then just be still for a little bit. The power is in doing both. Okay. And now your awareness is on your spine again. Let's do it with our words instead of with the oil. Let's just see what happens. Your awareness is on your spine. And with your awareness on your spine, you're going to say, Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. And just letting go. Okay. So if you think of the idea of like transition or transitioning, right? Really, if you boil down and you look at the mechanics, you're letting go of a form, an opinion, an idea, a time in your life, a way of doing things. You lived in a city, you're moving to a different city, you have a different circle of friends, but whatever it is, you're looking at, there's a form and you're letting it go, and now there's this new situation, a kind of almost like a rebirth of sorts. right? And so the idea for me when I work Azrael, the way that I look at this is when something's in repetition, right? When we talk about like, oh, we're in a neurological loop or we might be in a mental loop. When there's a loop and there's not part of the rest and repair aspect of our nervous system, the healing part of our nervous system, hitting that area to resolve that loop, be it in the body or in the mind, in a way, that repetition is a kind of darkness. And darkness doesn't mean evil. It means like no light. Like it's stuck in that loop or that pattern. And so, like in Buddhism, they would refer to darkness as just like ignorance, like not being aware of the light, not being aware of your true nature, right? And so the idea of invoking Azrael for me, like when I think of it, is like, okay, I'm in some repetition, I'm in some loop, I'm in this thing in my and it could be several areas of my life. It's just like I'm in this place in my life where I need to become light. Like I need like whatever this is, there needs to be a shift, there needs to be a change. Like I can't, the best way I could say it is there's been a couple times in my life where I was like, I don't care what it is, it has to be different. I don't even care if it's a lateral move, not even an improvement, but I can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's making me nuts. And so, in a way, what you're doing is you're saying, uh, I'll become light. I'll become like this expansive quality that is going to shine light into that pattern. And who knows where it's going to go, but it's going to stop. Like, it's like lighting a candle in a dark room. Now all of a sudden, it might not be completely lit up, but that room is different because that candle is there, right? And so, it's very reminiscent for me, like when I was traveling with the medicine man. They would we would facilitate people doing vision quests for their practice. At certain times of the year we do vision quests, and the translation for that name is like crying for a vision or crying for guidance. And the thing with Azrael, it has that vibe for me. Like when you're kind of just like at your wit's end, or when you're just like, I can't take it anymore, or something's gotta give, right? Just something's gotta give, right? And so, crying for a vision or crying for light, whatever that might be. The crying in that practice isn't sobbing. It's like how we do toning. It's like saying these deep tones where you're trying to bring something in that's just not there. And so, yeah. So we're going to do more with this, but I don't know. I just thought I'd share some of my personal experiences with Azrael. But let's get a little bit of feedback, ask some questions, and then we're going to do more. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, and then we'll process it, and then we'll jump in and go a little deeper. How was that for you, by the way?
Feel like we're just tapping the like the egg, like it's just about to break right open. Way more settled.
You feel more settled. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different energy than
Yeah. If you think about like the angel that we worked last week and then the week before and the week before, all angelic energies all feel very, very, very different. And when I was doing the book, like the book is just a lot of my notes over the years, and each angel I could have talked about for probably 100 pages, but the thing that really doesn't translate with the writing is you almost have to like experience the angel to really get the angel. Like reading stuff about it, we have our preconceived ideas about the words and everything, but when you start experiencing the energy, you're like, that's what that feels like, you know? God is my help. That's what that feels like. And if you think about like crying for a vision, God is my help. Like, I need something. I need, uh, when we would do vision quests, it was about going up on the mountain and finding yourself, getting your feet under you, getting direction in your life, where you felt like a little lost or you felt that things were hopeless or you feel stuck. You feel just really, really stuck. And that happens to us sometimes. It might not be any big situation, but internally we still feel stuck. And so if that's the case, Azrael is the angel to turn to when it comes to things like that. So
Yeah, we've had a couple shares come in. Someone shared, happy to be working with this energy. A situation I'm working with is too emotional to talk about, but I can feel a sense of help
yeah,
available to make a shift in my perspective on this situation.
yeah.
The emotional body throbs when I observe the situation, and then the body grateful for this particular angel.
Okay, so that brings up a very good point. Like when we look at these situations and I'm saying like, oh, I just need to get out of here. I need something different. I need to shift. But sometimes like you said, the emotion is so strong or so overwhelming that it's hard to even address it, let alone release it, let go, and moving on. And again, Azrael is very good for helping us to work through those emotional aspects so that we can get to a place to where we can shift it, release it, transition out of it, whatever that might be. So, even if you just do baby steps, a little tiny bit from time to time. Uh, the thing that we just did where we did the knees, the ankles, the feet after the body listening and did the spine, you could do that as you lay down in bed, as you're laying there and having your 5, 10, 15 minutes before you fall asleep. And you could not even necessarily think of a situation, but you could just work that process and then go to sleep. And then in your dream time, you would be processing some of that.
And then I'll just share what another person said. They said, such a perfect practice for just now. And then they shared some different things going on in astrology and
Hmm,
said, something great is starting. Perfect moment to let old stuff go.
yeah.
And go ahead, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, so what you just said brought up a question for me about how to work with this. So
Hmm.
that was my share, by the way, about it's too emotional of a situation to talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but what you talked at the beginning about how you might want to work with something that like always comes up in your mind, always comes up in
Right,
your mind, always comes up in
right,
your
right.
there's always right. And so would it be useful to do like the knees and ankles, feet and spine thing like when it arises? Because it arises
I
often.
would do it both ways. When it
Okay.
arises, you could do it. That's probably when it's going to be the most fruitful.
Okay.
But like even do it when I'm doing healing and stuff. Sometimes I'll have people like think of the past event, and then that's what I do. I work the knees, the ankles, the soles of the feet, and then like flesh that out, and then hit the spine, and then usually the back solar plexus will let go.
Mm.
And so some, sort of connection or whatever it might be kind of comes out. And then I stabilize them and then I go, okay, let's go back and check that again. And so you can do it when it comes up, or you can kind of do that therapeutic thing where you go, I'm going to bring this up to go through and work it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And go ahead, Teresa.
Hey, hey.
Hello. That was really great.
Oh,
So
good.
soothing. So
Yeah.
relaxing.
Very, very like peaceful. Like,
Yeah.
like going back to like what Linda was saying about like there was, something that's overwhelming emotionally. I always feel like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I've been doing this a long time. But remember, there was a situation about 6 months ago that came up, and I thought I was fine. And somebody started asking me questions about something that had happened about 10 years ago. Oh, I was choked up. I could barely speak. I started shaking, and I was like, ugh. I thought I was fine about this. And again, like I brought in Azrael for that.
Wow.
I didn't know that I was upset like that. But like soon as
Hmm.
I started really thinking of the situation, I was like Linda, where I was like, I could barely hold the space to even go there. And I was like, I had no idea that I was like that hurt and that upset about the situation, but apparently I was.
Ooh, you just gave me one to work on.
Yeah.
It just popped into my head. I'm like, wow. Um, and but before you go to that, what is
Mhm.
in this? It smells so great. It's
Let's
familiar.
look. Let's look. Oh yeah. Blue Mountain Sage. And
Oh,
that's probably the thing that smells familiar.
yep.
And then patchouli, milfoil, marjoram, and camphor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
if we look at it from just like a clinical or therapeutic point of view, sage is always good to use for transition. You know,
Hmm.
I don't sit like when I do the angel blends, I don't sit and go, well, sage is good for this and this one's good for that. I look at it energetically, and then sometimes I go back and I look at the blend and I was like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. Like I didn't go into it with like, okay, Azrael's about transition and letting go. Which sage should I use? Like I didn't even think about it like that. And Blue Mountain Sage is one of the more potent forms of sage for transition. And
Hmm.
so yeah, makes sense.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Yeah, it's a really, I
Yeah.
mean, I can still, like, we're not even inhaling it. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, it lingers.
mm,
And like camphor is very fortifying and strengthening, and milfoil is a type of yarrow, so it's for good like deep wounds. Marjoram is for transmutation in the body. You know, it makes sense why those oils line up for that angel. But yeah.
mm. Nice shares and questions, guys, for that first process.
So we're going to do the process that's in the book. We're going to do the thing that's tied to, well, there's a few different processes, but we're going to do it, and then we're going to come back around and visit the lower legs and the spine again, right? So the very first thing I'm going to have you do is put your awareness on the forehead and take nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with the oil in through the nose, out through the mouth. Your awareness is on your forehead. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness to your back head. Your awareness is on the back head. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness to the sides of your head. You're working each side of your head. They do different things. You're processing different things. Now, move your awareness to the brain. You're still on the brain. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just pause and let go for a moment. Close your eyes and just completely let go. What situation were you doing? Now, your awareness is on your brain again. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And now, move to that little notch between your two collarbones. Your awareness is on that little notch between the two collarbones. Your awareness is on that high heart area. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now let that go. Just let that go. And the best that you can, visualize yourself in a ball of light, completely surrounded by a ball of light. In front of you and behind you, the left side and the right side of you, above you and below you. Yeah. And as you are visualizing yourself in a ball of light, take nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Okay. And then just let go. Just let it incubate and be still. So this is what I would say about this. And, you see if this rings true for you or not. But you know how it's like sometimes you're working on something and you could feel that something's happening. You can feel like, oh, there's a shift there. There's like this new area or this new avenue. Some dynamic thing is happening, or there's a new kind of momentum and motion. If you notice when you invoke this, that isn't there. It just feels like it's done, whatever it is. Like you sit there and you kind of go through it, and it's not like, oh, a new door is going to open or a new thing that's going to open. It just feels like this, whatever this is done, right? And so, even if it's something that is an active situation and you're like, oh, I don't want to use it for this because I don't want the situation to be done. I would say the things that you've outgrown or that no longer serve you in those areas, that's the pieces that will be done. It's not like it's just going to shut everything down, but it feels almost like, how you go through and you do your process and then you let go and you're just kind of being still and you just feel like, okay, I'm kind of relaxed. It just feels like stillness, not just in here, but out there as well. Like there's a kind of stillness that is even in the external. And so one of the things that I like to do because of this is I go through and I do this process, and I actually go through and cycle through what we've just done several times, right? But then towards the end, I come up and hold my hands up and I focus on whatever situation that was the past, the person, the situation, the event, whatever it was. And then I I hold my hands up and then keep repeating the name Azrael, projecting light at that situation, right? So let's explore that a little bit. You're going to hold your hands up, roll down the outer two fingers, Whatever your situation is, your attention's there. If you want to have your awareness anywhere, it can be on the either the heart or the forehead. And then silently in your mind, just repeat Azrael. 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 Then let your hands be down, just be still. If there's a negative pattern, we're letting it stop. There is a negative way of thinking, a negative way of being. If we've gotten sidetracked or stuck in a loop, we're letting it stop. We're transitioning into something better. Just let it be still for a moment. Let's see how that feels for you guys. Um, I think Linda and Teresa both had like things from the past that you don't have to give details, but Linda, I'd be curious, like, how did that situation feel right now?
Yeah, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Um, well, what happened was, especially when we raised our hands to bless the situation or bring light into the situation, that movement made me very emotional. Um,
Mm,
and just the idea of, because a part of it is a blaming of myself for actions that I did or didn't do that created suffering, in my opinion, for another human being. And there's a lot of blaming myself for that person going through certain things. and
mm,
and but what happened in that process was there was a little bit more clarity around, I'm going to use the word, the absurdity of that. Like,
mm.
that blaming
Yeah,
myself for
yeah,
all
yeah.
of this is really kind of absurd.
Right.
And so that was an interesting insight. And the idea even of the blessing, like being willing to bless myself, to bring light to
Hmm.
myself.
Interesting. Yeah.
Y- to, yeah, for that to be able to be resolved within myself. Because I keep wanting to bless the other person, even though
Right.
she's been dead for 12 years now.
Right.
I still keep trying to bless her. But
Right.
the realization that in order for this to shift or move or change or be done or let go, the blessing maybe needs to go to me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's, I mean, it's just such a new way to view it for me.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. So, like, the blessing part is really what kind of brought that to your attention.
Yes, it was when you said when you first started to say I like to raise my hands, and do. I was like, oh, let me raise my hands and see what happens. Even before you had us do it, I was starting to do
Hmm.
it, and it was like, oh my gosh, that I
Yeah.
don't know something about that process.
Yeah. Because, it's like, we're just kind of rehashing the same thing, but like, even that, like, that viewpoint, it's like you're transitioning out of that viewpoint, or that viewpoint's coming to an end. Especially if it doesn't serve you, or a lot of times, for me, it's just stuff that's in my head. It's not necessarily the way that it was. It was just like my perception at the time. And you know, the ability to kind of step out of that, it's hard. It's not something you can do on your own. Like, a lot of times you have to do like some sort of meditation or some sort of ceremony, or invoke some angel, and then it's almost like you're sucked out of it, and then you kind of get this bigger viewpoint. And boy, it sounds like you went right there really quick. Yeah, good
Yeah,
for you.
so I'm going to be really curious to see how this unfolds in the coming
Yeah,
days.
we're gonna
And
cycle through it again, by the way.
yeah, okay, all right, I can handle it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Anybody else? And Teresa, did you have a good experience?
Are you still conscious?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dodie. Or fine.
Oh, um, I love this angel.
Yeah, Azrael.
And
Yeah.
it's just I kept falling, as we were inhaling even before. First of all, I'm freezing right now, and the house is not, I was hot before. And I kept doing the practice, like from the very beginning, I felt this presence like enveloping me, there was just this
Yeah.
energy, I was in it. And it was just so beautiful and so like, I don't know, like nurturing.
Hmm.
And then, doing the protocols, especially when we did the ball of light. I mean, I kept falling in to some like being hijacked, I would say.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
just, it's so deep. And then when we did, and also emotional, like I feel like I want to cry right now. There's things were just like stirred up, like moved, and yeah, like there's even before we raised our hands, I felt these emotions moving through.
So, the thing that I would say about that is like the crying part, or like, like a little bit of grieving. If you kind of think about, we're talking about transitioning, we're talking about letting go of something. And so when we do, we have this shift of perception, and we do kind of grieve that old way of looking at things, or what we were attached to when we thought that way, whatever it might be. There is a little bit of a grieving process. And I remember, oh God, who was I? I want to say it was a llama, but one of my old, like, teachers or influences, or whatever you want to say. They made this comment one time that grieving or sadness is helping to, like, I'm going to use our terms, but basically helps the form prepare for a shift. Like, so it's almost like if you're doing something and you, as weird as it sounds, you don't get a little sad or you don't feel like a little grief or something, you're not hitting it. You're not hitting the thing that needs to shift deep within you. And like when you feel a little bit of sadness or you feel a little bit, it's not that we want to make ourselves sad, but it's like you're on top of something when you have that emotion arise. And I go back to that situation where it was like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And I thought about that situation a bunch. I've done processes on it. I was fine. But, somebody had asked me to do something that was somewhat affiliated with that old situation. And it was just like a different perspective. Like it wasn't anything new or different, but the perspective of how I looked at it was a little bit different. And I had no idea that I was that upset. I mean, I couldn't even finish the sentence. I was like that upset, like trying to talk about it. I was so choked up. And then, I went through and I did the little process, and then I could talk about it just fine. But there was some deep, like, wound that just still hadn't been processed yet that I was oblivious to, like super oblivious to. And in that moment when I got kind of choked up, I was like, God, I can't even believe it's like I never processed this. Went through and I worked through it and everything. And I noticed that afterwards there was a freedom from that situation that I thought I was experiencing, but I wasn't. All of a sudden, it wasn't that it just even felt lighter, that situation just stopped arising in my mind. Like it just wasn't, I didn't think it was arising before, but when it shifted and I moved out of it, I realized it was still there. Like I didn't know better. You know what I mean? I didn't have anything to compare it to. Yeah.
Mm.
And a lot of times we're not even going to know what it's about. There's the things that we know, but like that's a good example. Like I'm aware of that situation. I was not aware of that wound. I was so not aware of that wound. And that's what it was. It was a wound. Yeah. I think I'm tough and, but like that one, like, for whatever reason, that one really hurt.
Mm.
Yeah.
You, you in the beginning, yeah, thank you for sharing that. In the beginning, you said, think of a person or situation, and I couldn't. There was nothing coming, right? Nothing. And
Right.
then as we were, and because it's like, yeah, I've had that, but I don't really think. I was just kind of going through things. I was like, nothing was there. And then at the end, I realized that the situation is my entire life until this point.
Right. Right.
And that's when I started feeling the emotions and I'm still feeling all this like stirred up within me.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up a good point because, like, if you think about, like, sometimes when we're trying to let go of something or we're trying to work through something, we see the event, or I could just be talking about myself here, but like, I realize sometimes that it's like young Greg I'm trying to let go of, or high school Greg, or
Mm.
mid 20s Greg, or whatever it is, like because so many years goes by and we're still trying to manage some of those things that happened, or at least the way of thinking, the way that we were, the things we did, the things we didn't do. And I can remember receiving a blessing from a teacher one time, a guru, And in the blessing, he said, "You are released from your past." And at first, I was like, that was kind of an odd thing to say. And, I was sitting there and I was sitting with it. And like I could feel something kind of happening. And I was like, how much of me right now is really just old Greg in different clothes at a different time and not really who I am right now? I've learned so much, I've worked through so much, I've processed so much, but how much of it is like old Greg just pops his head up and there we are again. And you know, I was young then. Like I've grown out of that. Like it's time to let it go or whatever. And you know, we know that we grew old or older, but how much of that do we truly just let go of so that we could be who we are now, present with who we are and what we're becoming and looking forward rather than kind of having an anchor from the past just always weighing us down. And that, I mean, that's kind of the point you were making.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Very.
carried, I've schlepped
Yeah.
all those aspects of
Yeah. Of
myself with me everywhere. Can I share something about
course.
like the oil? So I have been, I've got the kits with oils and I love them, just so you know. I'm anointing myself in the morning,
Hmm.
at night, um but I've noticed a pattern. So at night, I choose whatever angel, or I even have the etheric quartz, which I also love. And I do the whole, the ointment, the body tonic, and da 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 da.
Hmm.
And I go to sleep and I'm fine, right? Like it's warm in the house and I'm fine. And then as I'm falling asleep, I'm actually, it's like I go in between for a while and I start getting really cold. So I'm not asleep and I'm not awake and I'm freezing. And then after a while, I finally fall asleep and then I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm way too hot because it's like I'm covered. Is that part of the oil? Is it something happening?
It's the oil is helping like facilitate that. It's not really the oil that's doing it, but it's
Yeah.
it's shifting something. And if you look at like a lot of times when spiritual energy is coming in, we have the balance of our channels and everything. One's hot, one's cold. And so when there starts to be excess of the cool aspect, the body will cool down. And when the other channel, like when Kundalini is going up, the body will heat up a little bit. If you look at the energy body, you know, like say your energy body's like this is your aura, like the effect of the chakras, right? And so when you heat up, you kind of are like this, and then it goes like that, but then there's an expansion, right? And when you're getting cold, your body kind of goes like this, and then goes like that again, right? And then balances out. And so like this is your basic is shrinking and you're going up into the ethers, like you're going up into your upper faculties, you're going beyond the senses, and you're kind of leaving the body a little bit. It's like what happens in meditation or when you're dreaming. And so as you kind of go like this, the body isn't quite as strong as it was, and the body can get cold, and then the energy then begins to regulate and the body comes back, but then there's like an expansion because of it, so the aura and the chakras get bigger, but it's like this kind of happens.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
Just put socks
As long
on.
as it doesn't last for a super long time,
It can last for about an hour, sometimes even
yeah, but as long as
longer.
it's not lasting for days and things like that.
Oh, it's every night.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. You're getting ready to go to bed. It's the end of the day. You're tired. Yeah,
Yeah.
things like that make it much easier for it to happen, you know.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like,
Like going back to that idea, um, in my early days of doing meditation, like I couldn't have expansion. Like I would sit there and meditate, my mind would like calm down, but I mean, I just felt like this, like sitting here with my eyes closed, like nothing was happening. And so, one of the tricks is to stay up and you know, like you don't go to sleep and you wait till you're exhausted, right? You just like, okay, I can barely keep my eyes open. And then uh, you sit and meditate. And the reason to do that is you're already starting to kind of leave your body a little bit. Like when you go to sleep and you start dreaming, part of your consciousness is leaving your body, right? So you're kind of already starting to do that, which is what happens in meditation, right? And so it happens like if the body is weakened or if the body is tired or you know whatever might be, but if we bring stillness to the body, then the body is able to do that too while it's awake. Doesn't mean you want to spend all the time there, but you want to have your moments.
yeah, because at some point I'm like, go to bed, fall asleep. It's like enough of this in between. But then it's like
Right.
I'm so cold.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've been doing, maybe I shouldn't, um, I like to kind of visualize myself in a ball of light as I fall asleep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm right there with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
It's just nice. It's
I
just like
agree. I
it's
agree.
like personal spa.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
But a
thank
good
you.
place to go to, what like to sleep. You know, it usually makes my dreams better, process more, and yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of smoother. Yeah,
Mhm.
once I, yeah. Okay, thank you, thank you,
Good
thank you,
stuff.
thank you.
And go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey there. Um, Gosh, this is so good to listen to other people's experiences while doing this. Um, it's very emotional for me too. There was a lot of kind of a release going on. I thought what you said was absolutely profound. I wrote that one down. You are released from your past.
Yeah.
That
Isn't that amazing? Like I never really thought about it, but when you said that, I
does.
thought that I was like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I want.
I so very much so for me. Like
Yeah.
today, I just went through this experience. I had out of the blue, I'd lost my email and I tried to dial my old number. And then someone picked up, and I was thinking maybe I can work with them to regain my access to my email. I'll get the code sent to that phone. I'll get into my old email. Hey, everything's going to be happy. I started talking to them about it, and they hung up on me. It's like, here I am trying to be so helpful to others, and that's
Yeah.
my general nature. And then it just like it kind of hurt. It kind of
Yeah.
hurt. It just kind of really set me. I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know where else to go with that. But that brought up a whole lot of pain from, why don't people help each other? Why don't that whole thing that comes through
Yeah.
this, like part of this planet thing that we're going through right now?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
don't they do that? And I think about the childhood experiences that I had, why was he like that, and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And it's just like really just too
Yeah.
much, man. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's a deep
Yeah.
wound, deep, deep wound in
Yeah.
there. So, but this is brilliant. I'm definitely making a point. I'm usually so tired by the end of the day. I go right down, but I'm definitely making a point now from now on to be at these classes or these sessions. This is
Oh,
brilliant.
good.
This is brilliant, Greg. This is
Oh,
brilliant.
thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. But
Thank you.
like even the thing that you're saying, like if you think about like the situation, like you were nailing it on the head, like it goes back to the thing in your childhood. And like you could think of like the thing that's happening now as this like access point for like a pattern that's in your life that is like always kind of there. And we're kind of it's like we're stuck in this realm that we can't get out of. Like in Buddhism, we say, like when you're in bed and you have your sleep and your dream and you wake up from the dream, and then you embrace the day, and then the goal for the day is to wake up from the
Yeah.
waking dream, you know. And that waking dream is like these like kind of places that we dwell that our mind sees everything as like, well, this does this and this does that, and I went to the store and I got in my car and I know these people and this is what we do and this is the clothes that I wear and this is these are the things that I do every day, but we're still kind of doing it from this like realm of like feeling and experience, and it's really a kind of consciousness, where we're in a place of consciousness within us, and we haven't broken out of that little area. And if you think of like the idea of like transition, it's a lot like the little bird breaking out of the egg, like you're
Hmm.
cracking the egg and then you're in this new place. And really, it's a series of those kinds of events that helps us to experience greater levels of the consciousness of who we are, but we haven't accessed those points yet. A lot of times it's external situations that help us go there. Like if you hear stories about like who somebody like in the middle of a crisis really stepped up and became this like leader or whatever, um that was always there, but it's not like they accessed it. It needed to have some external event, like kind of bring it out, bring it forth. And sometimes we're just stuck in these like kind of places that, you know, it's usually a byproduct of the past or a pattern that we came in with. And it's that idea of waking up, like you're waking up from the dream. And again, going back to Buddhism, it's like a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. Like there's layers to these things that you're waking up from. And the more we have like a kind of sustained awareness, like all the practices that we're doing, we're cultivating these kinds of awareness that at some point, I was making that comment like, I don't know, a year ago where I was like, we just get up and we walk out, you know, and really what it is the the intuition, the light, the spontaneity. We just kind of have this realization of, yeah, I'm done with this. Like I'm not doing this anymore. And you do get kind of released from that area and you step into this like bigger sphere of experience. And change isn't like for a person to change, it's not about becoming something different. It's really about accessing different parts of yourself. That's what change is. Like you're just accessing something that's always been there, but just it's like doors in a house. You have all these rooms in the house and you only use three or four rooms. There's still three or four other rooms you've never gone into that you don't know what's going on in there. It could have a great view, it could have a nice cozy bed, it could, who knows what's in there. And it's the same inside of us is, we're just trying to step into something that has always been there. But we get locked into that loop where we just keep having the same old experiences over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, so this is real disc. don't want to be disrespectful. So, as Azrael,
Mhm.
this is one for just kind of just, you know, I've drawn the line and I'm kind of done. I'm just
Yeah,
done with it.
like death to the old self. I mean, this is like if somebody was actually physically dying, this is the angel, one of the angels you would go to and use. Like it's
Oh,
helping
really?
them step into the next the next phase. But also
Ah,
here it's like like being released from your past. You're letting some of those old parts of yourself that really we're the one keeping them alive. It's not that they're live and dynamic and full of light and everything.
right.
It's just like a piece of our personality or piece of our trauma self or something that we keep spoon feeding, keeping it alive, hoping that something happens when really it's like it's time for that to go.
Yeah,
It, time to release that and let it go.
right.
So that's what this one's all about.
Okay.
That's why, like when you invoke it, like a lot of times you go, like I can feel this like dynamic energy, like something's happening. And this one, like whenever I invoke it, it feels like nothing's happening.
Hmm.
Just nothing's happening. The other one that's similar, is Archangel Uriel.
Uriel.
Uriel feels that way, because a lot of times we have these connections to old events or people or those old parts of ourselves, and we've had repetitive thoughts or strong emotions. So we have these connections to these things, and there's a momentum to those. Like when we've mixed our energy with the earth, there's a gravity that comes with that. And so that's why we're stuck in these realms. Like that's why
Ah,
we're always having these certain kinds of experiences and thinking a particular way and feeling a particular way is gravity. Like gravity is real. And so that releasing and letting go is like this disconnection of those past emotions and thoughts where it's mixed with the earth and then it's become something. And then the gravity of what that is keeps sucking you in. You're just like going, that's done. I'm letting that die off. That old part of me is dead. That's done. I'm not that person anymore.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they're all profound, but Azrael is really a profound angel
Wow.
work.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, good. There was one thing that has come to mind too. You mentioned this in a class a while ago,
Mhm.
with angels, like with Raphael. Um, that you have like Ra, as I recall, it's like Ra on the forehead, Fa on the feet, and at the heart. Is there all patterns like that with different angels?
Yeah, there can be.
There
Yeah.
can be,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
there
can't
can be.
remember what the significance of those patterns was too.
It's a way of unwinding how our emotions and mind interact with the earth,
Okay,
how the energies mix. Well,
okay,
we're going to talk about that at some point.
okay. So that's a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
further on down
A
the
little
road.
further down. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
think what I started talking about is a little premature, maybe.
Oh, okay. But that kind of stuck with me. I kind of it
Yeah,
was
no, it's very powerful.
Yeah, I did that for a while with yeah. Anyway, very good. And sorry, one more thing about just this
Mhm.
is kind of the intellect, the with the way you pronounce it. Sometimes you say Azrael, or sometimes you say Azrael. Is there a distinction as far as the different tonation?
Yeah, like a lot of times, like when you're toning, um, uh, as the energy starts moving, sometimes the tone will change, and you're kind of like riding this stream, and so a lot of times, like how I'm saying it, it usually does change as I start to say it, and it's because I keep aligning with that stream that comes in, and so
Oh,
the tones will start to shift. Sometimes it doesn't even sound anything like what you think it would sound.
okay,
It's
okay.
it's like that thing that we're saying about Vision Quest is like you're crying for a vision. It's almost like you're toning for for some um, light to come in. And if you think of the idea of atonement, like you're toning something, like,
Hmm.
it is about like striking a chord within you and expressing it.
Right. Wow, really? Huh. That's
Mm.
interesting. Yeah. Great. Well, thanks again, Greg.
Use the hook.
I mean, I feel like my experience wasn't profound compared to maybe other people's, but I was yawning so much.
Mhm.
And then when we started doing the pattern, the forehead, the back head, the sides, and then when we hit ball of light, it was just like something shifted.
Right.
Like something got real quiet. I didn't have to yawn anymore. I can't say I feel like, oh, I'm like bubbling awake. I just feel like,
You look different though.
yeah, my Ming Ming, I think, got super overactivated
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel very regulated again. It's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Also, a couple people have shared that this is their new favorite oil. They want us to get the 5 ml on the site.
Sure.
And I want to make sure everyone knows the special price for this kit, if you wanted it, is through tonight. So it's after today, it's at its regular price. And just for these kind of reasons, because of these experiences. So other than that, I say let's keep going, dude. Well,
Okay, so we're gonna cycle through and do all of that so you can work the same situation or you can choose a new situation. And your situation could be just like I was saying, like my old self. I think about like how I was when I was 20 or when I was 30 or when I was 5. Like Linda was talking about that situation, and it's like even how you see yourself in that situation. Like it doesn't have to be about the other person, it can just be about you. And as you're observing that part of yourself, start taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with the oil. And then let it go and just be still for a moment. Where do you feel it in the body? Where do you feel it in your body, your spine, your brain, wherever it is? Observe that area. And when you're ready, begin inhaling the oil. And then just let go. Let it all go. Just be aware of whatever you feel. If it's in your body, your emotions, your thoughts, just be aware of yourself. And silently in your mind, Azrael, Azrael. 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 Your awareness is on your knees, your whole knee, or just the back of your knee. Awareness is still on your knees. Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. Inhale your oil with your awareness on your knees. And then just pause and be still. Your awareness is on your ankles. You're holding your awareness on your ankles. Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. Inhale the oil with your awareness on your ankles. And then just pause and be still. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. Inhale the oil with your awareness on that area. And then pause and be still. Your awareness is on your spine. You're practicing awareness on your spine. And with your awareness on your spine, Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. Inhale the oil with your awareness on your spine. And just let go. Your awareness is on your forehead. Start taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the back head. And then the sides of your head. Your awareness is on your brain. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on your brain. The high heart area, that area between your two collarbones. See yourself in a ball of light. Inhale with your awareness on the ball of light. Let it all go. Just be still for a moment. Raise your hands up. That situation, or at least that time in your life, that old self, silently in your mind. Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. Oz, Ra, El. Just relax your hands and just be still for a moment. Okay. I hope you guys had a good session tonight. Next week is we're moving into the bees, Angel Bariel. So should be very interesting. It's again another angel I worked with quite a bit. So we can have lots to chat about. Very different than tonight. So we're going to be moving over to the Astara prayer petition blessing. If you want to kind of keep riding this wave and shift over to that. If not, we have our study group tomorrow, 6 o'clock for Astara and 7 o'clock for a deeper dive. And then I think I see a bunch of you this weekend for the class. So take care.